So shortly after, it was COVID. So it was like early in 2021, maybe January, February. I'm seeing online and elsewhere people that I thought were smart and serious, Jamie Menzel mostly saying, and others, maybe this leaked from the lab. And I was like, well, that's interesting. So I went to Nightline. I said, hey, I'd like to do a story on, and they were like, great, yeah, let's do it. So we just across the board, we talked to, molecular virologists. We talked to people in the Trump administration who had been in the Trump administration. We broke a little news that that lab had been funded by the Chinese military, despite the bad lady saying no, it hadn't. And that came from the security, a tip from inside the one of the three-letter agencies in the government. And we kind of laid it out. And at the end of the day, my own personal feeling was, talking to everybody, I thought it's probably a little bit more likely it's natural. But if you told me it had leaked from the lab, fine. And it's probably not cooked up. It's probably not a Frankenvirus. But I didn't reach that conclusion. I just laid it out. And we're ready to go. And the day that it's supposed to air, it gets reviewed. And it comes back to me, and it is incomprehensible. And I've never been angrier. I'm in the booth.
These lawyers?
Lawyers' standards. And I was told, Fauci.
Oh?
And I said, I can't do this. And they're going to air, and it's a 15-minute piece or whatever. And I'm cursing and screaming in the booth.
And this is day of?
Day of air. And I'm just absolutely livid, beside myself. And I'm usually, I tried to be a good colleague that way. It's important to be respectful of somebody on the other end of that mic taking it in New York. So they were, and the editor, I've never watched that story and never want to, because it wasn't mine. I didn't think, and because, most importantly, because it was incomprehensible. They had put so many caveats in there, and so many and it was so legalized. And
wait, so they took the story that you did and either sent a copy of a transcript or a copy of the video to Anthony Fauci?
It would have been the script. That's what I was told. I don't know that that's true personally, but I was told that.
And the idea was just suggesting that it wasn't a wet market and it was a lab leak was dangerous?
Well, if you know the whole story, right? There was an organized campaign by one of the guys who was funding the research at, what was his name, Daszak or whatever, to get scientists to sign on and say, there's no way there's a lab leak. Anybody who says that this came from the lab is, participating in racism or something. And that really silenced. I mean, our standards, ABC News' standards people took that absolutely to heart, and it was not going to be discussed as that potential was killed for a while.